I think we are all familiar with a GPS, right? We all know what a GPS is. A global positioning system. And it helps us to reach our destination. So if you look at that picture, that's a satellite way up in the sky. And there's a little lady there that sits in the office up there. But the global position, the GPS, what it helps do is it advises us. It tells us when to turn right. It suggests when we bear to the left. It will even indicate how far we have to go. And at times, you will constantly hear recalculating, recalculating, recalculating. We still, however, have the responsibility of driving the car. It's not an automatic pilot, but it can keep us from getting lost. All through the scriptures, the gospel stories are given to us to help guide our direction in our lives. The gospel stories teach us how to live in this world as we journey through it, moving toward our destination. But what is that destination? That destination is new life. And so the Gospels give us guidance, but the responsibility is still entrusted to each of us. Now the Gospel into today gives us a new direction. Jesus challenges each of us to answer, just as he asked the Pharisees today. He tells the story of the landowner who sends his servants and finally his son to those who were entrusted with the vineyard. We know, although the end of the story, they were all treated with violence. And so Jesus asks each of us today, what will the king do when he comes? And the typical answer, like the Pharisees answered in the gospel today, is he will put them all to a miserable death. That's the expected line. The typical way humanity seems to respond to violence. In fact, the leaders of the people at the time of Jesus responded to Jesus in the same way. They rejected him and they killed him. Jesus' death was an act of violence. It was a violent response to his call to live lives of goodness and righteousness, taking care of the widow, the orphan, somehow allowing forgiveness and love to have the priority in our lives, and especially taking care of those who are in need and respecting the dignity of human life. But if we really listen to the Gospels, if we are the people whom we are called to be, we know that God doesn't return violence with violence. He returns violence with an Easter judgment. He sends God's Spirit, he sends Jesus back into our lives to help us to recalculate the direction of our lives, to help recalculate the direction of our world. And so the words of Jesus, I have come to bring life, are not just words that are in scriptures. They're not just this month's Respect to Life Month theme, but rather it is a call to accept a way of life, a direction that will lead to new life. So on October 2nd, 2011, the destination remains the same for each of us, new life. We can try to get there on our own, but doing it without God doesn't seem to have a very good track record in our world. We have war, we have death, we have abortion, we have the abuse of the elderly and the disabled, we have the death penalty, We have discrimination and prejudice. We have suicide bombings, terrorism, crime. We have a failing political leadership. We have poverty. Over 1 billion people on this earth today live on $1 a day. And over 2.7 billion people live on $2 a day. It really is time for a new global positioning in this world. Maybe the Word of God can recalculate our world's direction and somehow keep us from losing our way. God bless you.